Hare devotees. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 7, Schedule Incarnation, and we try to understand Shloka Kramanka 36 and 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtiki. Hare Krishna. Shlok Kramanka 36 and 37. Kalena Milita Dhiya Avamrishanrunam
कालेन मिलितधियाम् अवमृश्य नॄणाम्
स्तोक आयुषाम स्वनिगमः बत दूरपारः
स्तोक आयुषां स्वनिगमः बत दूरपारः
आविर्हित त्वनुयोगम सह हि सत्यवत्याम
आविहित तु अनुयुगं सहि सत्यवत्याम्
वेदद्रुमं वीटपशः विभजिष्यति स्म
वेदद्रुमं विटपशः विभजिष्यति स्म
देवद्विषां निगमवर्त्मनि निष्ठितानां
देवद्विषां निगमवर्त्मनि निष्ठितानाम्
पूर्वीः मयेन विहित अभिताभिः अदृश्यतुर्भिः
पुर्भिः भयेन विहिताभिः अदृश्यत अभितुर्भिः
लोकान् घ्नतां मतिविमोहम् अतिप्रलोभम्
लोकान् घ्नतां मतिविमोहम् अतिप्रलोभम्
वेषं विधाय बहुभाषत औपधर्म्यम्
वेषविधाय बहुभाष्यत औपधर्म्यम्
कालेन मिलितधियाम् अवमृश्य नॄणाम्
कालेन मिलितधियाम् अवमृश्य नॄणाम्
स्तोक आयुष्यां स्वनिगमः बत दूरपारः
शोकायुषां स्वनिगमः बत दूरपारः
आविर्हितः तु अनुयुगं सः हि सत्यवत्याम्
आविर्हितः तु अनुयुगं सहि सत्यवत्याम्
वेदद्रुमं विटपशः विभजिष्यति स्म
वेदद्रुमं विटपशः विभजिष्यति स्म
देवद्विषां निगमवर्त्मनि निष्ठितानां
देवद्विषां निगमवर्त्मनि निष्ठितानाम्
पूर्भिः मयेन विहिताभिः अदृश्यतुर्भिः
पूर्भिः मयेन विहिताभिः अदृश्यतुर्भिः
लोकान् घ्नतां मतिविमोहम् अतिप्रलोभम्
लोकान् घ्नतां मतिविमोहम् अतिप्रलोभम्
वेषं विधाय बहुभाषत औपधर्म्यम्
वेषं विधाय बहुभाष्यत औपधर्म्यम्
कालेन मिलितधियाम् अवमृष्णॄणाम् स्तोक आयुष्यां स्वनिगमः बत दूरपारः आविर्हितः तु अनुयुगं स हि सत्यवत्याम् वेदद्रुमं वीटपशः विभजिष्यति स्म देवद्विषां निगमवर्त्मनि निष्ठितानां पूर्भिः मयेन विहिताभिः अदृश्यतुर्भिः लोकान् घ्नतां मतिविमोहम् अतिप्रलोभम् वेषं विधाय बहुभाष्यतोपधर्म्यम्
कालेन मिलितधियाम् अमृश्य नॄणां स्तोकायुषां स्वनिगमः बत दूरपारः आविर्हितः तु अनुयुगं सहि सत्यवत्यां वेदद्रुमं विटपाश विभजिष्यति स्म देवद्विषां निगमवर्त्मनि निष्ठितानां पूर्भिभयेन विहिताभिः अदृश्यतुर्भिः लोकां घ्नतां मतिविमोहम् अतिप्रलोभम् वेषं विधाय बहुभाष्यत औपधर्म्यम.
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord himself in his incarnation as the son of Satyavati, Vyāsadeva, will consider his compilation of the Vedic literature to be very difficult for the less intelligent person with short life, and thus he will divide the tree of Vedic knowledge into different branches according to the circumstances of the particular age. When the atheist, after being well versed in the Vedic scientific knowledge, an inhabitant of different planets flying unseen in the sky on well-built rockets prepared by the great scientist Maya. The Lord will bewilder their minds by dressing himself attractively as Buddha and will preach on sub-religious principles. Purport. Here in Brahmā mentions the future compilation of Srimad Bhagavatam for the short-lived person of the Kali age. As explained in the first canto, the less intelligent persons of the age of Kali would be not only short-lived but also perplexed with so many problems of life due to the awkward situation of the godless human society. Advancement of material comforts of the body is activity in the mode of ignorance according to the laws of material nature. Real advancement of knowledge means progress of knowledge and self-realization. But in the age of Kali, the less intelligent men mistakenly consider the short lifetime of 100 years, now factually reduced to about 40 or 60 years, to be all in all. They are less intelligent because they have no information of the eternity of life. They identify with the temporary material body existing for 40 years and consider it the only basic principle of life. Such persons are described as equal to the asses and bulls. But the Lord, as the compassionate Father of a living being, imparts unto them the vast Vedic knowledge in short treatises like the Bhagavad Gita, and for the graduates, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Puranas and Mahabharata are also similarly made by Vyāsadeva for the different types of men in the modes of material nature, but none of them are independent of the Vedic principles. This incarnation of Lord Buddha is not the same Buddha incarnation we have in the present history of mankind. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Buddha incarnation mentioned in this verse appeared in different Kali age. In the duration of life of one Manu, there are more than 72 Kali-yugas, and in one of them, the particular type of Buddha mentioned here would appear. Lord Buddha incarnates at a time when the people are most materialistic and preaches common sense religious principle. Such ahimsa is not a religious principle itself, but it is an important quality for persons who are actually religious. It is a common sense religion because one is advised to do no harm to any other animal or living being, because such harmful actions are equally harmful to he who does the harm. But before learning these principles of nonviolence, one has to learn two other principles, namely to be humble and to be prideless. Unless one is humble and prideless, one cannot be harmless and nonviolent. And after being nonviolent, one has to learn tolerance and simplicity. One must offer respects to the great religious preachers and spiritual leaders, and also train the senses for controlled action, learning to be unattached to family and home, and enacting devotional service to the Lord, etc. At the ultimate stage, one has to accept the Lord and become his devotee. Otherwise, there is no religion. In religious principle, there must be God in the center. Otherwise, simple moral instructions are merely sub-religious principle, generally known as upadharma or nearness to religious principle. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guroho Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा। Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Schedule Incarnations, and we try to understand Shloka Kramanka 36 and 37. In the 36 shlokas, they describe about the incarnation of the Vyāsadeva, who is the son of Satyavati, and he compiled the Vedas in so many and um, branches and according to the circumstances of the particular age. Then they describe about the real advancement of knowledge means progress of knowledge in self-realization, and the persons are described as equal to the asses and bulls who is not understanding about the real purpose of the life. And in 37 shloka they describe about the incarnation of the Lord Buddha. This incarnation of Lord Buddha and another Buddha incarnation in present history, both are different. uh, they told that in the one day of uh, Brahma, there are 14 manus, and one manu's uh, time is 71, 71 uh, yugas, chatur yugas, and in 71 chatur yugas, here they write in 72 they have mentioned. They have mentioned 72, but 71 is Kali-yugas come according to the 71 uh, yugas come in one Manu's life. And they describe about the two principles for non-violence, uh, who has to learn two other principles, uh, harmfulness and non-violent. He wants up to he is not humble and prideless. One cannot be harmful, less and non-violent. All this describing, and ahead they told about the religions who in religious principle must not know some moral instructions given by the uh, spiritual uh, spiritual spiritually sub-religious principles, that uh, 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 religious principles known as upadharma or nearness to the religious principle. Prabhuji will tell us in nicely. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you very much, Mataji. As we get introduced to the compassionate wisdom of Vyāsadeva, and Lord Buddha's teachings, which are the true path of knowledge and devotion. So two remarkable themes coming here. First is how Lord as Vyāsadeva has divided the Vedas out of compassion for the people of Kali-yuga like us. And in the second shloka about the appearance of Lord Buddha, who preached non-violence, simple living, to rescue humanity from misuse of Vedas and destructive science. So if you look at both together, what happens is we see how Supreme Lord guides humanity according to time, place, and capacity, giving knowledge in forms people can digest, with the ultimate objective of pointing everyone to bhakti, the loving service to Kṛṣṇa. In Kali-yuga, where we are having a plight right now. We are short-lived, unintelligent, troubled by endless anxieties. So, though Shastras mentioned 100 years as a lifespan, modern humans often live about 40 to 60. But this is going to keep on reducing as Kali-yuga progresses. Another problem is we all mistake the body for the self, chasing sense gratification while forgetting eternal truths. So what scriptures do is they compare such people to donkeys and bulls, burdened with loads, but unaware of life's purpose. So the true knowledge is self-realization. Progress is not in science or technology, neither in Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. It is an understanding the soul and its relationship with God. Thinking that these 60 years, 70 years, 100 years are everything is ignorance. It keeps the soul trapped in matter. And so, even after leaving the body, after n number of years that we are talking about, we again have to take up another body. So, this cycle continues. Again, we are entrapped in that another body. We continue our karmas in that another body. And then we hope that, okay, one day we will get something better. But something better never comes, because what we are looking for is not in this material world. What we are looking for is always in the spiritual world. So this cycle has to be broken somewhere. And if as long as it is not broken, we continue to be kept here, bonded. We continue to suffer here. And that suffering continues forever. In fact, when we go to the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and we go through shloka number 8 to 12, you'll find so much of information being spread there, where real knowledge is described as having humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, accepting a spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, and freedom from false ego. So there Prabhupada says, quoting Sri Kṛṣṇa, that anything and everything which is beyond these 10 is actually ignorance. So see, we get introduced to what is knowledge. So that is shlok number 8 to 12. So we need to accept such importance. Vyāsadeva ji was very compassionate. He could foresee what is going to happen in future. And seeing that the people could not study the vast Vedas, Vyāsadeva ji compiled Mahabharata for general masses, Puranas for different kinds of varied natures of people, Bhagavad Gita, the concise essence of Vedic wisdom, and Srimad Bhagavatam for advanced devotees and seekers of Sri Krishna. So all these works are subordinates to the Vedas, meant only to lead to devotional service. And of this, Srimad Bhagavatam is the Amala Purana, the spotless Purana, which is actually the fruit of all the Vedas. And that is why Vyāsadeva ji is so very important. He is our eternal spiritual master. And whatever knowledge comes, through Kṛṣṇa, through parampara to us, is passed on through Vyāsadeva. In today's world, what we see is a decline in dharma and its remedy. The so-called progress often glorifies sins, meat eating, intoxication, immorality as civilization. Schools rarely teach that we are eternal souls. Everyone is focusing only on temporary enjoyment. The only solution is to study Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and live by their teachings. And that is where Kṛṣṇa ensures that he appears in the right form at the right time. So Srimad Bhagavatam, as we all know, is the book incarnation of Kṛṣṇa, the Grantha Avtara. Similarly, when people started misusing the Vedas to justify violence or employ science to create destructive weapons, the Lord appears as Buddha to teach non-violence and moral discipline. Now, this Buddha is not limited to the historical prince of our era. The Puranas explain that in each Manvantara, the Lord may descend as Buddha to check misuse of dharma. But both have taught about ahimsa. So the question comes, what is the real meaning of non-violence? Now, ahimsa paramo dharma is a necessary step to stop cruelty, especially misuse of Vedic animal sacrifices. So non-violence, humility, and absence of pride prepare a person for higher truths. Morality alone is only upadharma, a shadow of religion. So true dharma begins when humility, non-violence, and pridelessness lead us to surrender to Krishna. And that is where we need to be able to understand the devotees of the qualities of a pure devotee. A devotee always remains peaceful and patient, is never envious or inimical. Even in distress, they see suffering as minimal compared to their own karma. So they practice tolerance, trinadapi sunichena, simplicity, gratitude, knowing that obstacles come by Krishna's will for their purification. So everything has to be accepted and utilized for Krishna. Even family life, renunciation, simplicity. Household life is auspicious if centered on bhakti, chanting, hearing scripture, deity worship, honoring prasad. But if family life hinders devotion, then we need to cultivate detachment and gradually simplify. No one can be perfectly happy or miserable. Pleasure and pain alternate periodically. So what is important is minimalistic living principle. Simple food, few possessions, regulated senses. This frees energy for service to the devotees, to Guru and to Krishna. And that is why when we study 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, shloka number 8 to 12, we see the 18 points of knowledge. Same are also described in the 10th shloka of Ishopnisha. So 18 items as knowledge and everything else is ignorance. Prabhupada ji has quoted them in the purport. And this is your homework. So Srila Prabhupada said, practicing this is real education. All else is the burden of the ass. Unfortunately, modern education does not accept it, and that is where the dangers come. Contemporary schooling ignores chastity, spiritual values, shastric study. Science without God creates weapons and division. Families break, youths grow arrogant, society drowns in violence and sensuality. We are seeing it happening in our neighbor right now, Nepal. So Ishopnishad warns that such knowledge is actually ignorance binding the soul. So we need to be learning from the dhira, the steady-minded. True wisdom comes by hearing from a dhira person, a steady person unmoved by sense agitation. Arjuna became dhir by accepting Krishna as Guru. A dhira or an unsteady person is passion driven. and he cannot guide society, though they may appear as leaders nowadays. So these two shlokas, they are very important to us from practical aspects. First and foremost, we understand that discipline is important. Now, discipline means avoiding overeating, oversleeping, excessive talk, and wasting time on gadgets. Secondly, we need to regulate life. Morning and evening kirtan, study Gita and Bhagavatam, serve the deity, take only prasad. In fact, Prabhupada ji says that even if you don't have a Vigraha Roop deities in your family, in your home, you should at least have laminations of the deities and do all the worship that you actually would do if it were a temple. So that way we'll in a better position to regulate life. Because then such a home becomes a true ashram and it prepares us for liberation. So I would like to conclude by reminding that Vyāsadeva ji, Buddha, though they are appearing in different moods, they have worked for the same aim, that is uplifting humanity towards self-realization and devotion. Both are incarnations of Lord Sri Krishna, and both appeared in situations where it was important for spreading the message of Krishna in a better way. Vyāsadeva ji gave scriptures for all capacities, leading ultimately to Srimad Bhagavatam, the spotless Puran, and Buddha halted violence and inspired simplicity, paving the way for bhakti. Morality, non-violence, knowledge, all three together, as we call them MNK, they achieve perfection only when they culminate in pure devotion to Sri Krishna. So these two shlokas, they have been very important. In Kali-yuga, lasting success comes not from technology or dry ethics, but from humble study of śāstra, regulated life, and wholehearted surrender to Krishna. Whether we are in family or whether we are in renounced life, whether we want to have a grihastha ashram or whether we wish to continue in brahmachari ashram, a Krishna-centered life is the essence of real religion and the path to liberation. So let us all come together and pray to Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maya, Sudarshan Bhagwan, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Gaur Nitai, Panchatatvas, Narsimha Bhagwan, that please accept us and please guide us in the most appropriate manner. Just like Vyāsadeva ji compiled everything, simplified it, Prabhupada ji has given us 1, 2, 3 lifestyle. So let us follow that sadhana. Whatever are the hindrances, please guide us and give us the strength to overcome the hindrances so that we never deviate from the path of bhakti. We never forget to serve the devotees, because serving devotees, serving Guru, serving Krishna is the most appropriate thing to be done. Please, O Krishna, make us Krishna Das and let us not ever be Maya Das again. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.